was my first time to stand on the stage at the age of 8 years old in front of boys and girls at the primary school. And this was the Celine Dion song, as we used to call it, I and my friend.
What was the song name?
It's a
My
good.
heart will go on.
Titanic.
Titanic.
Yes. In 2017, I joined Toastmasters, and I got the chance to know more about how to be an effective speaker. Now, of course, there are so many characteristics, but for me, I learned and enhanced only 4. To smile is a good thing to start your speech. That's the facial expression, guys. It's a good thing to relax you and the audience as well. I learned another thing is that if you are uncomfortable or nervous, if your facial expression does not show that, you are really in a good situation. Now let me tell you this story. Again, back in 2017. I was the BBE education at the time in Baghdad Toastmasters, of course, and we all know Faisal. Faisal told me to make a presentation about the educational materials at the time. Now, I'm good, right, with that public speaking. Yeah, I've been like a fresh member at the time, but I'm somehow good. But when you have this huge responsibility upon you, all the nervousness and how uncomfortable you are will come in the presentation day. Now, during my presentation, everything somehow was fine. However, in the middle of my speech, I stopped and then I continued. The thing is that, during my speech, I felt this tightness in my throat. Now, audience, they don't know. And as if there's some kind of limp, you know, when you are really like choke or you cannot swallow. Anyway, I was done. During the break, one of the members told me, approached me and told me, Shaden, you did great, you showed great confidence. I mean, I was surprised. I was dying from the inside. I told her, really? Yeah. She told me, you stopped in the middle of the presentation, but everything was fine. I told her, are you sure? She told me, I was dying. I mean, I was really nervous. She told me, well, your face did not show that. So this is a good thing. Facial expression is really a good thing in your presentation.
I always smile when I get nervous on the stage.
That's right. Why not? Smiling is also good.
To hide me being nervous.
Great. By the way, people have different ways to hide their nervousness or to control their anxiety. Thank you for this. Now, like facial expression is really important in face-to-face and with online meetings, right? And we all know this during Corona when we conducted online meetings, because the audience behind the screen cannot see what you are wearing, how you look like, but they can see your face. So to show your facial expression in front of them is also a good thing. One last thing. Recently, I read in an article that it is not a good strategy to read the facial expression in the audience faces. Well, I think it's good. However, in my career, I'm a college teacher by the way. I think it's a good strategy for me. I mean, it's a personal decision. Because I learned that through the years that when you read the facial expression of your students, you will get a chance to know if they got you or not. Now, let me tell you this. When I'm explaining certain subject, I will, at the end of the topic, I will say this, is everything clear, guys, with you? Shall I repeat again? And of course, the students will not answer. So I will answer myself. No, everything is not clear. So after a while, they got used to it. So one of the students one time, you know, miss, it's okay. We did not get it. Can you repeat it? So they give up eventually because they know now, I can read upon their faces. I know they didn't get it from the beginning. This is one. Eye contact. Eye contact communication skills. You can master how to be in eye contact. And the thing is that when you do eye contact with your audience, you will become less monotonous and more about less monologue, and more about dialogue, as if you are engaging your audience. Come on, you have something to say? You have a question? You want to participate? Do you have a comment to say to me? That's the importance of eye contact. And back in my career. Yeah?
I have a problem in eye contact in everyone, not in audience. Like with my close friends, or with my mom, my dad, who I can stand.
Well, I think you can practice. Because I was also not good in eye contact. I used to look only in the straight way, not in the sides.
You know, I heard once that you can look at the back of the stage is better than looking at the eyes of the audience.
Maybe. Why
Maybe.
not? Everyone
It may
has
work.
their own strategy. So whatever strategy that you are using,
It
and
may
it's
work as a
easy-
beginner, right? But
Yeah,
not as
see, it's
a pro.
effective. Why not?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
When I do my speeches, I look at the nowhere. I'm looking somewhere, as anyone is, but it's nowhere.
Sometimes it can get you nervous, actually.
Yeah.
I get more nervous when I look at people's eyes.
By the way, I memorized most of your eye contacts, guys. So, so we can tell, yeah. But with the practice, believe me, with the practice. Now let me tell you as an example. Since I'm now accustomed to the eye contact, but back in 2019, I feel like 2 years at the time we were joining Toastmasters. Because I promised myself to apply these skills out of Toastmasters in my daily life, in my job as well. So students somehow become accustomed to me making eye contact. There was this lecture, I think I was explaining things about sounds or phonetics. And in the middle of my explanation, one of the students told me, "Miss, you didn't look at me." Now, I mean, I'm outside Toastmasters, so at the moment I didn't think that she meant eye contact. I thought that she meant, okay, I will explain the topic again after I'm going to finish. I thought that she means about the topic, right? But then she repeated again, "No, miss, you didn't look at me when you are explaining the topic." So I got her. I was somehow like surprised, but bad at the same time. I mean, it's somehow good and bad at the same time that your students are accustomed to the eye contact, because now, if sometimes, because I mean, sometimes you are maybe maybe tired, certain things happening with your life. Maybe today you are not doing this eye contact. So sometimes I feel the strange in their faces, as if you are not looking at me. I mean, that's the thing. So eye contact is really vital in your presentation. Feedback. Giving and receiving feedback. Back in also, I think 20, maybe 18, maybe, and I think Hussein was there at the time. Do you remember my first time being GE, General?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Let me tell you this story. I was horrible. Everyone hated me. I mean, I focused only on the negative points. I hold the paper and I told them, "You were bad in this. You did bad in this. You should not do this." So I promised myself.
A butcher.
After this, I
She was.
literally. And even Faisal, I said he was like funny, still like a fresh member.
I was in my beginning, so I wasn't getting the whole thing, so I was
Yeah.
getting it as a torture.
Yeah, that's the thing. Faisal actually, he requested me and told me, "What did you do?" And he at least mentioned some points or areas of improvements. But the thing is that I think nobody knows at the time. I was somehow nervous. This is my first time being GE, for God's sake. So I was like nervous to do it good, but I ended up doing bad, right? Anyway, after that, I promised myself to improve how to give feedback, which is, by the way, evaluation. And I said it back a couple of years ago. Evaluate to motivate, or evaluate to encourage, not to discourage. So the thing is that someone will think that evaluation or giving feedback or giving good things or areas for improvements is easy. By the way, it's not easy at all. You have to be a critical thinker. I also applied evaluation or giving feedback in my career. I like to, for example, now when some guys did ask me a certain question about the eye contact, I told them good, or that's a good question. I used to do this. However, the point is when someone will mention something wrong, what you will do at the time. So when a student will give a wrong answer, I would say, you know what, good try, but this answer is not related with this topic right now. You can mention it. Next time we will explain this topic. In this way, you are motivating, okay? I mean, whatever job you are doing, you are motivating people to do better next time. Now, how many times of you did, or at least, how many times do you attend, let's say, a seminar, a conference, a meeting, and you feel that the speaker is somehow monotonous?
A robot.
Can you tell me about this?
It was a business meeting. I was heading a meeting from our side, and there was another one from the other side. The entire thing, like, he was just speaking as someone who was doing a voice note, and even facial expressions, he was like someone as a joker. It was like I couldn't tell he was happy or sad. He was saying something happy, but he was not happy. Or the voice doesn't show happiness. He was sad. The voice and the expressions are not showing anything.
Okay, thank you. This is vocal variety, by the way, guys. And this is in particular tone. So vocal variety is it includes volume or pitch, tone, and finally pace. Now with tone, it shows that how emotional you are in your speech. Sometimes people will speak with hostile, and we all know that logic. And sometimes people will show sympathy, empathy. This is the tone. Now with volume or pitch, some people will think that this is concerning the physiological changes concerning male and female, like male are like speak with low voice maybe, or females with louder maybe. I'm not sure. Anyway, you can control. You can change in the situation. Now finally for the pace, it shows how fast you are, fast in your presentation, and in this way you will lose the people's interest, or at least people or an audience will not get you. Or if you are slow in your presentation, in this way, audience will lose interest with you. I know I'm taking some time. Let me tell you an example. Back when I was in a conference in Turkey, the last fall, there was one professor actually I was really enjoyed with his research presentation. I mean, of course he was somehow old, and his specialty was physical education. So he did everything: facial expression, gestures. I mean, he adds his research with physical education. It's all about the sport, guys. However, with vocal variety, I don't know, maybe it's bad luck, but the microphone didn't work. But he tried his best. He even approached the audience in order to deliver his voice really well and clear. So, I mean, if you do one or do all of them all together in your presentation,